Good afternoon to some of you. I know it could be 3 hours earlier. I know it's early in California, but thanks for getting on. If you don't see some of your teammates on that should be on, shoot them a quick text. But I'm excited. April's got a great training for you tonight, but this is obviously the last Sunday for for July before we close out the pay period, which is Wednesday night. And the next 3 days are the three most important days of the month for you. Okay, for you, for your team, for your businesses. There, these 3 days, you can turn a really good month into a really great month in the next 3 days. You could turn a lackluster month into a really good month in the next 3 days. That's how important the next 3 days are in a business like this. Okay. And, you've heard me say this in the past, but the business happens in flurries. It comes in flurries. Unfortunately, it doesn't announce itself when a flurry is coming. It just comes, and there's something that happens to each one of us when we get in the middle of a flurry. And what I mean by that is a rapid fire of people joining us, where people, whether they're customers or consultants, whether it's personal or your team, it is a very contagious thing. And we just take on a different, I don't know, persona, may be the right word. And we speak with such conviction, we speak with such confidence that you can almost say anything to somebody and they're going to want to be a part of what you're doing. They're just you know how a magnet has got two sides, and depending on which side you flip it to, it's either pushing things away or it's drawing things to it. We're all like a magnet. Okay, we can be, and nobody intends to be the magnet that's pushing everybody away. Okay, that is definitely not an intended thing, but it happens. Okay. And all of a sudden you flip the switch, and that's an old saying at LifeVantage. We don't use that one anymore, but and you get the magnet turned the other way, and everybody wants to be a part of what you're doing. And that was before they announced this weight loss product, that's coming out, that's going to revolutionize the weight loss industry, because there's nothing out there like it. It's going to be an activator. There are no activators out there, okay, in the weight loss industry. There are some drugs that are pretty popular right now that cost about $1,200 a month. Okay, there's nothing out there that's going to be in the $150 to $200 price range that's going to do the things like collagen does and like Protandim does, but only for weight loss. So I'm not going to go into a lot of that tonight, because what's most important tonight is the next 3 days. The weight loss stuff is still 2.5 months away. Okay. But we have our team opportunity presentation tomorrow night. And in the next 24 hours, you could make or break your month by how many people you have join us tomorrow night. Okay. And that's the 29th. And that still leaves us 2 more days, the 30th and 31st, to close out the month. So there's a couple things I'll mention about the trip, the new cruise to Alaska. But again, we have 9 months to qualify that, to qualify for that. But you really want to do your best to get a track this month and pick up the 20 points that go with that. Okay. And the company will do another month, probably later in the year, where there'll probably be another double point month. They're in 9 months, they're going to do a couple different things, but you don't want to be behind the 8 ball right away. You want to be kind of, have building yourself a cushion. And you could get a track for as simply as having 750 points, new points, new enrollments, 750 points is a track as long as there's at least one consultant that is a part of that that has 150 points. So the question is, could I do it with one person? Yes. One consultant that has 750 points, that's a track. You're getting $100 gift card, you're getting the 20 points for the cruise, and we go from there. So it could just be one person. Could it be 10 people? Yeah, it could be 10 people, that order 50 or 60 points and a consultant with 150. Okay. It could be one, it could be 10. It's entirely up to you. But I'll go over a little bit more with that, but April, let me give it to you because I was looking at
Okay,
your slides and they're great.
thanks. How's everybody doing? Good, good. We're gonna do some launch stuff today. I do want to give you a reminder. We've been getting more active in the Lifespan Matters, and I want to tell you what happened to me Saturday. Bobby and I went to the beach. And while I was sitting at the beach, and I think I had told Catalina because it had just happened, I had an existing customer, a collagen customer, originally started on collagen, but because of what she saw in that group in particular, she ordered another 420 points Saturday, just some text back and forth, some Tri-Synergizer package. She ordered 3 of them. So, again, keeping your people in there, tagging them, just keeping them abreast of all the products. It's powerful. And then I just got a text from her. She wants to be on the launch. So I may even have a potential new consultant just because of it. So again, all these little things add up, but tonight I have some slides on the launch itself. Okay, and we're just going to make this full. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the launch tonight. This is very important. Everybody's talking about the weight loss, but if you're at a dead standstill when the weight loss comes and you've not been talking to people, there are 2 things that are going on. One, your skills haven't been developed because you haven't been talking to people. There's nothing worse in this business than when we just stop and get quiet and we don't talk. We don't practice our skills. We get rusty. It's not a good thing. Plus, you won't have all these people to be able to share the weight loss with. So it's really, really important that, you continue to share collagen, you continue to share, Protandim, whatever it is that you've been sharing, all of it really, is really what's important. But we're gonna talk about the launch, and I'm gonna go through some scripts that I use. Hopefully this will just make it easier for you to be able to talk to people. So Bobby's made up a few versions of this. If you do not have it, definitely go ahead and get it from him. But he puts it in the group, the Team Unity, our training group. I know we're going to try to be a little bit better. In the beginning of the month, the company does a welcome call, and also on the 25th. Both valuable information. So we want to send more reminders on that. But don't post the Zoom ID number. Don't post it. Don't give it out. This right here, what is on this page here, is exactly what I've given out. I now have 13 invites for people that have agreed to be on the launch on Monday night. They don't have Zoom IDs. This is all they have. I haven't given them any more. I've got another one that's got more wording on it that I like also to use, but I haven't given them the Zoom ID. Everybody that has agreed to be on, I have also said to them, great, I sent them a picture like this, Monday night, I'm going to send you a reminder and the Zoom link, and I'll show you how I'm actually going to send that. But don't post the Zoom ID. You have no idea then who is on as your guest. You have no idea. People dial in, it's cell phone, it's numbers. You can't tell if they're on their computer. You have no idea. So don't even worry about who's on it or who isn't at that point. Again, as long as you have your list, this is a seamless thing to be able to do. But don't give the Zoom links out, but tell them you're going to send them the Zoom link with the live link the next day, or Monday. Like today, I was saying the next day for Monday. So, again, you want to do that follow-up beforehand. So, before you invite anybody to the launch, if you're going to have a conversation, and this is what I really want to go to, because most of you are still very much working through your phone. I mean, I met a lady at tennis Thursday night. So my conversations with her with this, she's very cold. I mean, it was just tennis. It was a very quick match too, but when I talked to somebody and she brought up something about eczema, so that's why, I thought of her, or actually, shared some information with her. But, think of the reason that either you want them in the business or they need the business or the product. Because you have to have a starting base. And generally, the first thing that comes to your mind is the thing that you should write down about them. It's the thing that you want to talk to them. That's the whole reason you want to talk to them. And that makes it seem more sincere if we know generally why we want to talk to them. So maybe you want them more. Maybe they have great contacts, they're business savvy, their industry where they work, there is a niche for our business. Maybe, like there's lots of people now that have salons and spas and doctors' offices and stuff where they have people coming to them all day long. That would be a niche for somebody. So think about why you really want that person. Okay, this is what I suggest we do now is I would suggest we initially text this message. Because if you notice, people are even people very familiar to you and close to you will text you and say, "Are you free? Are you available? Can you talk?" I mean, it's kind of funny, but it isn't. But that's where we've gotten in life. People will text somebody and say, "Can you talk?" So I would say, "I have something exciting I want to run by you. Do you have 5 minutes for a call?" Again, there's a whole bunch of reasons why we want to keep it to 5 minutes. We're busy. We have lots of people to talk to. We want the perception that we're busy, but also who would object to only 5 minutes, giving us 5 minutes? Any friend would say, "Sure, I'll give you 5 minutes." Even if it goes longer than the 5 minutes, 5 minutes is very acceptable for everyone. So they would say, "Sure." So again, this is what I would text right before I wanted to talk to them, and then they'll get back and they'll say, "Sure." So you could take screenshots if you want, just so you can see what's going on here. But again, text them and just say, "Hey, I have something exciting I want to run by you. Do you have 5 minutes for a call?" Or some variation of this. That's how I actually start this whole conversation. The next thing I do is, I again tell them, yes, I do have something exciting when we get on the phone, but I want to catch up with them. How is your family doing? How do you know them through, tennis, church, business? How do you know them? Let's catch up a little bit. Let's warm it up a little bit. So I do tell them, I say, "I've got something exciting to share, but I want to hear, how are your kids doing? What's going on with your kids? Or is so-and-so still in soccer, or so-and-so still playing baseball, or whatever is going on, you want to be able to catch up with them." The second part of this is the reason I wanted to touch base is I found this category, creating science that no one knows about. I've only got a few minutes before my next call. I always tell people I only have a few minutes before my next call. I'm busy. I don't want to get stuck on the phone for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. That's just, it doesn't, if you're busy and you've got a lot of people to call and they perceive that you're busy and you're excited, you got a lot to call, this will go a lot faster for you. Plus, what it does is it doesn't give them time to ask you, "Tell me all about it." Because if you tell them all about it on the phone, there's no reason for them to get on the Zoom. They don't ever have to get on the Zoom. That you just gave them all the information and they made a decision. Yeah, and that's not for me. So best to let, just say, the reason I wanted to touch base is I found this category, creating science that no one knows about. I only have a few minutes before my next meeting, but I'd love to send you an invite to join us Monday night at 8:30. And they'll say, "Sure." I mean, it's a really seamless thing. It's an easy thing. We're not inviting a lot of objections. See, when you start to explain things yourself and go off on different tangents, you probably will create more questions than not. And then now you got to answer all these questions. So if you keep it simple, "I only got a few minutes. I was thinking about you, hey, do you have time Monday night? If I send you," and I always say, "If I send you," it's like there's the principle out there like that I'm giving you something, so if I send you, and then they're committing, they're saying, "Yes, if you send it to me, then yes, I will be on the Zoom." There's a back and forth exchange there. So it's important that if I invite you or if I send you. Okay. If for some reason they do press you for more information, you just say, "I don't have time, as I have a scheduled call. I don't want to be late for, but I promise this, age reversing science that nobody knows about," and hoping that you'll see the opportunity to be part of the business before everyone knows about it. But if not, no worries. And you just take it away from them. If this is not for you, that's fine. Don't waste my time. Don't be on the Zoom. I've got lots of people to talk to. So we do the takeaway there. If I sent you an invite, would you join me on the Zoom? Again, again, that's the give and the take. The other version I have of it here too might be, I don't have a lot of time to talk now. I'm late for a meeting. But if you're like me and always looking for a way to reverse aging, look and feel younger, you need to jump on this call with me, being very straightforward. The second one I would use for women probably more. The first one, I'm hoping, the opportunity of business popping up there would intrigue the guys. Maybe I might even talk about a little bit of money, saying, the opportunity to make money, if you want to see it. But the second one I would definitely do more for women. But again, you can see, if I sent you an invite, would you join me? Some of this language is so important when you use it with people, because psychologically it gets them to do what you want them to do. And it's funny, the more times you get them to say that they will agree to be on that Zoom, the less likely they are to not show. And this gets really important, not so much with your warm market, although, they can be very rude too and just not show at the last minute. But we've got some scripts for that on there. But again, the more you can get them to say yes, the more likely they are to be, if they're a good person, if they're a good character, that's what we're looking for. We don't want to just work with just anyone. So the other thing I never do is promise the recording. If they ask me, I don't know, there's no guarantees. And there were times we've gone through meetings where for some reason, even though the record button is always on, it didn't work, or we lost the file, or, things have happened before. I mean, and you all don't even realize it sometimes. Between Bobby and I, whoever signs in first has the recording on their computer. And sometimes even then it gets lost and it can get very confusing. So, it's really important that you don't promise the recording. That makes them be on it. They're not going to want to miss it, fear of missing out, FOMO, so you want to make sure that you don't promise the recording, although 99% of the time we have had the recording, we always have the recording button on. But again, we want them on the live. They'll pay more attention to the live than they will if we were, just sending out the recording and trying to get people to look. Because yourself, there are things that if you don't catch live, you just never, ever catch up with. Okay, so 30 minutes before, send the actual link. And so this is just one I took from like today's Zoom meeting in my text message. But Bobby sends this out. If you are the leader of your group, you need to send it to whomever's in your group. You need to pay it forward. You need to, copy it and paste it and send it to whomever. But this live link, particularly your guests, is going to make it a lot easier for them to get on, because they can just press the live link instead of, if they're not familiar with Zoom, maybe trying to log in and just use Zoom can be very intimidating for new people. The other thing, and this is important for all of us, this is very, very important. Please make sure you tell your guests to be early. I can tell you, we have only 30 minutes. We've promised only 30 minutes, which means we have to keep the products to 15 minutes. If they're not on early, they're late. They've missed out already, because we need to move that fast in order to get all that information in. So tell your guests to be early. We're on 15 minutes early. So no problem with that. I suggest you get on, and when your guest signs in, introduce them to everyone. Just say, hey, Betty, this is Susan, everybody say hi to Susan, type of thing. We can talk, we can make it jolly. Talk about the weather, talk about travel, any kind of happy comments. No business. If you've had a bad day, something with LifeVantage didn't go right for you, that is not the place we want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about that your friend isn't on the Zoom. Don't want to hear about it. It's not the place for it. This is the positive place. This is our show. This is all. People want to join us because we've got something super special. But because we're really cool people to hang out with, they want to be in business with us. So no business, no politics, no religion. We don't want to see any of that there. If you need something resolved, just call us individually afterwards or before the Zoom. Don't bring it up, but be on early. Encourage your guests to be on early, because, the worst thing is, it seems if you try to log in at the very last minute, which when you tell people, 8:30, they're like, oh, 8:30, I'm going to start logging in. That is wrong. We've had people log in 20 minutes late and they've missed the whole thing at that point. All they see is the close of the whole thing. So tell your guests to be on early, sign in early, tell them you'll be on early, and the whole thing will be a lot. Plus, we don't have to be letting people in while we're trying to talk. That's the other thing. We're trying to talk and we're trying to let people in, make sure they're muted, make sure there's no noise going on. So, our whole presentation with all of you can be that much more, easier or seamless. So this is why I say it doesn't matter who's on or not with your follow-up. You're going to follow up with everyone. I always follow. I just assume it's an assumptive close. I assume that you were on the Zoom. You told me you were going to be on the Zoom. So I know you're on the Zoom. You may have dialed in under a phone number or something, but I ask everybody, everyone that told me that they'll be on the Zoom, I ask, what did you love best about the Zoom? What did you love best about the Monday night call or last night call? If it's depending on the time zone and when we're done here, it's already 9 o'clock. So depending, I can follow up with a few people. But like I said, I already have 13 people that said they'd be on. I'm not going to be able to follow up with all 13 of them. And probably most of it will wait till the next day. There may be one or two that I'm been talking to for a while and I'm more excited about it. So, but what did you love best of Zoom? Follow up in a timely manner. If you're not following up Monday night, you're following up Tuesday for sure. No later than that because people forget. It amazes me. People forget what they sign up for. They forget what they said yes to. I mean, life is traveling very, very fast. So if you're not punctual in your follow-up, they're going to forget. They're just going to forget. Oh, what was the Zoom about? I forget what the Zoom about. What did you tell me? So, and then they can tell you whether they were on the Zoom or not. And they'll probably ask you for the recording if they missed it. But then they're asking for it. And you can ask, well, if I send it over to you, when do you think you can look at it? Well, I can look at it Tuesday morning. Okay. So if you can look at it Tuesday morning, you could look at it Tuesday morning, right? Okay. If I call you Tuesday afternoon, you'll have looked at it. See, I'm getting that person to say yes, yes, yes. And they already feel bad because they said they'd be on Monday night and they weren't on. So these are some of the tricks of the trade. When you do these little follow-ups like this, it's not like you're personally involved so much. It doesn't hurt so much because it's just the conversation that rolls forward with everything. So again, this follow-up, don't wait to hear from them or something. You need to initiate this and do it right away. Okay, so and that's it. So, that's a little bit about let's see, stop share. That's a little bit about how to follow up with people, how to get people on the Zoom. Do not describe the whole business. There's no point in them being on the Zoom if you've just told them all about the products and the comp plan and the company and everything else. You can build up one. Even when we did meetings, I'd say, that you're definitely going to want to be on this Zoom or this meeting because this guy is on and he's really good. If you've ever heard me talk about Tyler, when Tyler does a Zoom, absolutely love the way that he talks about money. And when I try to get other people on, I'm like, this is an amazing business. And when you see how he spends the money and the money that's involved in this company, you're not going to want to miss it, So you build up the person, not the products, not the company, because they can make a decision ahead of time. So hopefully, that it's not too late. Start doing your texting now. Start having some calls with people. You can easily get a lot of people on before tomorrow night. You've got all day tomorrow. But like I said, don't stop talking because it worries me that our company, we see so many people talking about the weight loss product. We don't have the weight loss product for like 10 weeks or something. Do you want to have a business that has nothing going on for 10 weeks? I don't. I'm excited. I've never been more excited about LifeVantage, but I don't want to stop my business by not talking about still the collagen, which is a very exciting product. But the testimonies just continue to come out, which are just staggering. Or the tandem or whatever's going on. We have so many great products. We forget about the hair care. The hair care is a huge industry. People wanting to get thicker hair as they get older, longer hair. I mean, we have so many great products. We do not have to wait for the weight loss as our only product. So anyway, so hopefully that'll help you with getting people on the launch. So Bobby?
Hey, while it's fresh on everybody's mind, does anyone have anything specific to ask April? I got a few things I still want to share with you, but instead of waiting to the end. If you got anything specific for raise your hand or unmute yourself and go ahead.
Go ahead, Ira. I think you
April,
had something.
is there going to be anything or even a mention about the weight loss product tomorrow?
Nope.
No? Okay.
Nope. Because
Okay.
if I'm
Thanks.
excited and I want to buy it in 10 weeks, they'll forget what you even talked about. You'll have to start all over
Yeah,
again.
it has no value now whatsoever because it would not motivate them at all to get involved because it's 3 months away.
It's just an
It's
excuse not to
two
get
and a half
involved.
months away.
But I would be keeping those people on a list. I already have a list of weight loss people. And so when we get the go and we know we're going to have product, it's going to be bing, 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 bing. So I just be able to go right down my call list.
Well, and the better part of that, Ira, is this. You get yourself 5 or 10 people on, and when you're following up, you say something like this. If you think that's exciting, I'm going to let you in on a secret. Okay. And you could share what's coming down the road, and all the more reason they need to get involved now so they have their business growing and moving. And when that new weight loss product comes out in October, their business will explode. So you can all individually do that. We don't need to do anything because you're going to be following up with them anyway. Okay. And say, I'm going to let you in on a secret, and make up anything you want. Say, this kind of got leaked out. We're a publicly traded company, but it got leaked, and here's what's going on. And just act like you're in the know and you're letting them in. And people love secrets, man. The minute you say, I'm going to let you in on a secret, you have their undivided attention with that one. That's like a magical word in this business. So anyone else for April? You guys got anything for April? So let me just give you an idea numbers wise. There's 39. So I'm going to call it this 40 of us on here now. Okay. If we're all going to be on tomorrow night, there's no excuses. We need to be on. Do you realize if we all had, now April's got 13 guests. Okay. I have 5 or 6, but if everybody has one guest, that's 80. If everybody has 1.5 guests, that's 100. And we will, the rest after 100, we'll get a message saying the Zoom is full. Do you know how cool it would be for your people to get blocked out and have seen that message, the Zoom is full? They will be in freak out mode that they missed out on something really, really, really exciting. I mean, they'll go out of their freaking minds with that. And there's a recording. So you can be the hero, okay, with it and say, hey, and then you get into that. Hey, if I send it to you, will you watch it? How long do you need to watch it? So like April was saying, there is no downside to whether they get on or don't get on. The key is to have them say they will be on. Okay. And then you're set up. Okay. And if you follow through, it was funny when we were at the beach yesterday, and we go to the beach a lot and we play pickleball a lot. That, and April plays tennis a lot. You guys kind of know what our lives are. And it's really cool when you're just sitting there chilling out and your phone is just going like crazy with text messages from people that are just excited about the business or the products. I mean, I'm watching April go back and forth with this lady by text yesterday. And she's saying, my husband, this with his legs. And April says, well, the products you just bought in the collagen will do wonders. And remember, this is a customer. Okay. And then April gets back and says, hey, would you mind taking pictures of his legs? And I'm like, that's freaking great. That's just telling a customer to take pictures of your husband's legs. I'm like, man, oh man, she's just got a flair on her, And the lady gets back to her and says, oh, definitely. I'll definitely take, I'm going to do it now. And it's going back and forth, and we're just laughing at you got to make the business fun. It's serious, but you got to have fun with it. Okay. And the more fun you have, the more of a magnet you become, and people just want to be a part of it. And that is the key. You can't have a puss on your face, and you can't be talking to somebody, even if they can't see you, if you have a puss on your face, because you sound like a puss face. Okay, How many times have you heard these supposed big time trainers talk about you should have a mirror in front of you when you're talking to people on the phone? Because the way you see yourself in the mirror is the way they're hearing you. Okay, that is the way they're hearing you. And if you're excited and enthusiastic with what you see in the mirror, okay, then they are hearing it that way. Okay. And if they're receiving it that way, it's really good. Okay. That's how you know you're on your game, folks. Now, I have a couple of slides I just want to show you, but I really just want to talk to you for a couple minutes, and then we'll open it up for questions, and we'll go from there. So actually, you know what? I'm not even going to use my slides. I was going to show you a little bit more with the cruise, but honestly, the trip, the Alaska trip, that can wait to next week. We can start the month off with that. You know, April, for those of you that may not know this, we have 32 years experience in the business, 27 years with our first company. And October, you know, when we're in Kansas City, somewhere around right to the day, it'll be 7 years. Okay. We got involved in I don't know, the 12th or 13th or something of October, somewhere in that range. So when we're in Kansas City, that'll be 7 years. So there is nothing more important than the beginning days of a month and then the end days of a month. Why are the beginning days important? Because what you do in the beginning sets the tone for the whole month. Okay. It just sets the tone. Okay. At the end of the month, you can turn a unproductive month into a real good month. You can turn a real good month into a great month. And that's because the more that happens, the more opportunities become available. Okay. And if you haven't experienced it, we're always watching what you're doing. And I know Fred's watching what his team is doing, but every time somebody does business, remember those points are adding on to everybody's total that's upline from that. And you're building up your gem rank, whether it's Onyx or Emerald or Sapphire or Diamond, whatever it is. And it creates like a hurricane effect, a tornado effect. The more you do, the more happens. And the more that things happen, the more you do. And it's so contagious. It's so much fun. You find yourself not even wanting to go to bed, okay, at night. It's like, okay, we got 72 hours. I'll rest when it's over. And you just go at it. And that's why I love, like, our business is international. We have a lot of business in Europe. And I love that because at least they're 5 or 6 hours ahead on the clock. So if I get up in 6 a.m, I really can't be calling people in the United States, but I can be messaging and doing things in Europe because it's noontime over there. Okay. And if I'm really feeling motivated and it's 10 o'clock here, and really, I try not to call anybody after 9 unless I have permission. But if it's 9 o'clock here, I say, well, I can still work the West Coast. It's only 6 out there. Okay. So there's no limit to what you can do when you get on a roll. So I'm going to challenge it. We got 3 days left. You know what your numbers are. You know what your business total is. You know what it was last month. Do what you got to do to match and beat last month. And do that in 2 forms. Personally, beat last month's number. That's your personal volume, okay, whether that's your customers and new consultants. And make sure your overall volume, your team, has a better number than the month before. And when you get in the habit of doing that, it becomes a habit for everybody. And when it gets down to the last 4 or 5 days of the month, people kick it into a higher gear. You know, it's like the 2-minute drill in a football game, the last 2 or 3 minutes in a basketball game. You don't want to miss that because a lot of stuff happens at the end of the game. Okay. And the same thing happens in this business. So we got 2 things going on. We're very fortunate. We have our opportunity presentation tomorrow night. Okay. And obviously we'll encourage them to take advantage of getting started at the end of the month and get right back to you and get started. But we still have 2 more days after that. Okay, so we should all begin a 72-hour sprint. And I know some of you have jobs. That's okay. You got 5 and 10 minutes here and there, even at your jobs. You know that, okay? Nobody's locked down. Where I'm working with a guy that does nuclear stuff that I know what I can do with him during the day. He's involved with nuclear stuff, okay? Not blowing things up, but energy. Okay. So, but again, we already have he's a new guy getting started in the business. And I know I can't call him while he's at work, but I can text and he can text back and we text back. And then as soon as he gets home, we can hop on the phone. Okay. Everybody can figure out how to do a few things while at work. Okay. Everybody can figure that out. So let's take the next 72 hours. First, let's do this, a 24-hour and then a 48-hour. The next 24 hours, challenge yourself to have multiple guests on tomorrow night. Okay. And just follow April's training with great training. Okay. Follow that training. And then when tomorrow night's Zoom is over, which will be 9 o'clock, we go 8:30 to 9, then go into a 48-hour stretch of closing out the month. Okay, so if we're going to prioritize closing the month and the launch comes first. 24 hours, don't think or do anything other than getting people on tomorrow night. And be on early and tell them you're looking forward to seeing them on there. And I was telling this someone the other day, and you know the difference. Right now, we're all live on the Hollywood Squares. And you know being live on this is a whole lot better than going to YouTube or the Facebook page and watching the replay. Well, why? Because you're in it now. You're in the movie. Okay, you're part of it. You were cast in the movie. Well, that's the difference between somebody being on live tomorrow night and then you having to go to the replay on it, is they're not in the movie. Okay. And people are always going to be more excited when they see themselves on the screen and they're in the movie. So that's why let's take the next 24 hours, guess tomorrow, everyone on here, I got all your names. I'm going to be calling you or texting you if I don't see you tomorrow night. I'm going to haunt you. I am promising you I will haunt you if I don't see you on. Okay. And then we'll take the last 48 hours. Okay. And we'll close out the month really strong. Sound good? Can I get a thumbs up on that or you wave at, tell me you're in? Are you in on it? Okay, let's do that. Let's have fun doing it. You know, you got to learn how to be serious with prospects and how to play with them at the same time while you're being serious with them. You know, April was funny with me yesterday. I had a lead come in, a business lead, and the guy just didn't respond. He had no computer skills and he didn't have a computer, and I was calling a landline. And I said, I'm just throwing this one back. I'm just throwing it back. There's nothing. And he lived in Seattle. I'm like, there ain't nothing I can do with somebody 3,000 miles away that can't get on Zoom, doesn't have a cell phone. I'm like, how did he even answer my ad? I don't even know how he answered an ad. Okay. But he did. Okay. But I had to throw that back. Okay. That was just, that's not going to move the business forward. So you know what? Sometimes it's okay to throw them back. Okay. It doesn't mean they won't come back to you in the future, but it just means you got better things to do now. That's all it means. So anyway, we got a minute. Any questions or comments that anybody want to throw in or add in before we call it an evening? It is thumbs up, Fred. We're excited, man. We are excited. I hope to see some of you at the Rise retreat. I know April and I will be there with Kenneth and Catalina. Hope to see some of you others there also, and see everybody in Kansas City in October. But anyone got anything they need right now, or are we good? We good? We're good. All right. So remember, tomorrow night, at least 10, 12 minutes earlier, we log in at 8:15. So anytime from 8:15, you can dial in, okay? And we love to be introduced to the guest before we start, okay? That would be great. So that's it for tonight, folks. We'll see you again tomorrow night, okay? And have a good evening. And let's jam the Zoom up tomorrow. Let's get people that log in late locked out. Okay, I'm telling you, if they get locked out, that you will have a done deal for a person when you catch up with them because you warned them. You said log in early and they didn't. You knew it was going to fill up, and we'll go from there. Have a good night, everyone. Appreciate your time. We love you. God bless.
Good night.